Hey guys, and girls, or whoever's watching, welcome to part 7 of my Spanish tutorials. So let's see what we got today. So first, let's recap from our previous tutorial, first by reviewing the months of the year. So like I said in the previous tutorial, January is the only month of the year whose translation is really different from the English. You can think of the NE in enero standing for new as in a new year, which is started by January. Then febrero is February, right? So most months must end with O and are therefore masculine. And just like the last 4 months of the year in English end in B-E-R, the Spanish equivalents all end in B-R-E. And as for the days of the week, they're all named after Roman gods except Sunday, where Lunes is named after Luna, the goddess of the moon. Martes is named after Mars, the god of war. Then Miércoles is named after Mercury, the Roman messenger god. Then Jueves is named after Jupiter, the god of the sky. Then Viernes is named after Venus, the goddess of love, which, as I said in my previous tutorial, makes a lot of sense because it's the most loved day of the week. Then Sábado is named after Saturn. I forgot what he's the god of. Then Domingo comes from the Spanish word for Lord, but more specifically the Latin word Dominus, because that's the Lord's Day according to Spanish. And we also learned how to say large numbers in Spanish. So let's see if you can say each of these numbers. Give me a couple seconds, then I'll reveal the answers. So here are the answers. So 20 to 25 is dos mil, it's 2000. Remember, you don't pluralize mil when part of a larger number. Then 20 is 20, followed by cinco, which is 5. So you just have to put them together to make 2025. Then 384 is trescientos. Remember, you don't pluralize mil, but you do have to pronounce cientos. And then ochenta is obviously 80, and cuatro is 4. And same thing here, 1000 is un mil, followed by siete cientos, 700. Then ochenta y cinco, 85. And same goes for the last one. First you say how many thousands you have, and the number of hundreds, and then just like in English, sesenta y cuatro is 74. So now let's move on to today's material. So here's a question for today. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? It's just a way of saying when is your birthday in Spanish. So to answer this question, you would first say mi cumpleaños, that means my birthday. And for future reference, cumple comes from cumplir, which means to turn or to accumulate, or años means years. So it's literally the accumulation of years because it's on your birthday that you get a year older. So anyways, then you add SL, meaning is the, and then, and since Spanish is mostly spoken outside of the United States, which uses this day month format, not month day like we do here, I would say the number followed by the month. For example, mi cumpleaños es el 24 de septiembre, meaning my birthday is September 24th. Of course, this isn't actually true, I'm just giving an example. So now, if you were to mention a specific person's birthday, like in a conversation, you would say el cumpleaños de, meaning the birthday of, then the person's name, and then you would use the number and month. For example, el cumpleaños de Michael, let's use this as an example, es el 17 de junio. I'm not sure if Michael's a real person or not, but I just imagine his birthday as June 17th. So now take a little bit of time to figure out what day each of the following 4 people's birthdays are. If you said January 29th, November 19th, September 12th, and August 6th, you are correct. You know how to say your numbers and months in Spanish. Feel free to check out these slides whenever you need them, but here are some holiday names that might be essential for a conversation. So Dia de Año Nuevo would be New Year's Day. Notice how most of these holidays have dia, that just means day, then followed by the word day, de, just means of. So most of these are just day of. So for example, Dia de Santo Valentino would be Valentine's Day because it's literally Saint Valentine's Day. Then Martes Gordo is the Spanish transliteration of the French phrase Mardi Gras, which in English means Fat Tuesday. And then same here, Dia de Santo Patricio is St. Patrick's Day. Then Pascua actually comes from the Hebrew word Pesach, which means Passover. And since they usually occur around the same time of the year, it makes sense that the words would be similar. So Dia de Memoria is Memorial Day. Dia de las Madres, literally Day of the Mothers, is Mother's Day. Then it follows the same rule for Dia de los Padres, Day of the Fathers, or Father's Day. Then Independence Day you can call either the literal Dia de la Independencia or simply Cuatro de Julio because it's on the 4th of July. Then Dia de Colombo is Columbus Day. And then Halloween is just Halloween. It's just basically a borrowed word because most countries outside of the United States don't celebrate Halloween. But if any of you watching are from Mexico, then you might have grown up celebrating Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. Contrary to popular belief, and its name, however, is actually 2 days, specifically the first 2 days of November. Then Dia de Acción de Gracias is literally day of the action of thanks, because it's Thanksgiving, or basically the day that you give thanks. Of course, you should be giving thanks every day of the year, but that's what we call it. Then Navidad is Christmas, and you might just remember this from Feliz Navidad, which, as my first tutorial suggests, means Merry Christmas. So now that you know the names for all these holidays, you can now put them together in a simple sentence. Like, for example, Halloween es el 31 de octubre, or La Navidad es el 25 de diciembre, or El Dia de los Muertos, there's a typo there, it should say El Dia de los Muertos es el 1 y 2 de noviembre. So you might have heard the word fiesta as meaning party in Spanish, but you can also use it to mean any holiday or celebration. It can form other sentences like mi fiesta favorita es el Dia de Acción de Gracias. But remember that, like in the examples, you don't need to capitalize the names of months in Spanish, and you also don't need to capitalize the days of the week like I did in the beginning of this video. Speaking of this video, that's all we have for today. I know today was kind of a short day, but if you're interested in more, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more Spanish to learn. Adios!